Hello, my fellow Americans. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. Monday, August 27, 2012. Politics. You know, it's my opinion that we the people need to talk politics amongst ourselves more often. I've mentioned that before. Most people don't want to talk politics because usually tempers flare. People start calling names. Fights might even break out. That's just part of the problem. But the other night, I was at a friend of mine's birthday party. We're sitting around the campfire, and I mentioned that, we should talk politics more. Not necessarily at his birthday party, but it was just in passing. Well, his wife spoke up and said the reason she doesn't like to talk about politics is because what's important to her isn't important to the other person, and what's important to the other person really isn't important to her. And if you think about that, ponder that for a few seconds, light bulb just might go off. You might understand why we're in the mess we're in. You know, when the forefathers decided to break away from the king, what was important to them? Freedom. But people right now, many people, don't feel that freedom's the most important thing. At least that doesn't seem to be too high on their priority list, unless they're incarcerated. But it's been bred out of us, programmed out of us, taught out of us. We're not willing to fight for that freedom anymore. I've mentioned before, you go to a sporting event, baseball, football, basketball. Everybody stands up, takes off their hat. Some people put their hand over their heart. National anthem. How's it end? The land of the free and home of the brave. Brainwashing. The jets fly over, or they honor the troops. And once again, I respect our men and women in uniform. I support them, but it's their government leaders that's the problem. I mean, when's the last time some foreigner came to your house or your property and tried to take away your freedom? When's the last time some foreigner put a restriction on you what you can and can't do? Think about it. I mean, really think about that. I mean, has Afghanistan or Iran or North Korea done anything to you personally? Have they done anything at all that has affected your way of life and your freedom? I don't think so. I could be wrong, and please send me a response, a reply, or a video response, and let me know where I'm missing the point. But as far as I'm concerned, The problem is within our borders. Not that we really have borders. In fact, I was talking to the loggers the other morning, and somehow we got on the politics. I think they started it. I didn't start it. I said, guys, don't get me riled up. We got work to do. But they were telling me that, I guess there's some bureaucrat somewhere won't allow them to use a hot rodded saw. It's illegal. If the fire protection comes out or forest patrol comes out and catches you with the hot rodded saw, you're in big trouble. Does that make any sense to you? Did North Korea do that? Afghanistan? Iran? No. I was watching a movie a friend lent me last night called Into the Wild. About this guy, got out of college, just graduated from college, and he decided to kind of chuck it all. But there's this one scene that's so telling. He walks into the, I guess it was the Park Service or Ranger's office. The guy's on the phone. Sounds like he's talking to his girlfriend or something. The ranger behind the desk. And he says, I'd like to go down the river. Or he was actually, I guess, asking, where's the best place to launch to get into the river? And the ranger's like, hold on, honey. What was that? Oh, do you have a permit? Guy goes, you need a permit to go down the river? I goes, yeah. Says, where do I get one? He says, well, you, how many times you been in the water? What kind of experience? He goes, not much. He goes, oh, well, you got to take a class. Got to take a class? Go down the river? He said, yeah, and then you've got to, I guess, get a trip permit. He goes, I got to get another permit to get on the river? He goes, yeah, because, and there's a waiting list. He goes, how long? Guy, he goes, honey, let me call you back. He looks in his book. He goes, oh, about 2.5 years. He goes, I have to wait 2.5 years to go on the river? The guy goes, yeah. Next scene, you see the guy pulling his kayak into the river, and he's, going down the river. So he took freedom into his own hands. He said, screw this. I got to get pay for a permit, take some class, and then wait to go down the river. And it made no sense to him. So he just took freedom. He took it. See, it's kind of like, remember that show Dallas with JR and Bobby? I think JR says, nobody gives you power, you take it. It's kind of what Harry Brown says in How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World. You just take your freedom. You don't make some grandiose stand or you get out there and try and convert a bunch of people. Low profile, flying under the radar, and just do your thing. And you see, a lot of people do that, but they're considered outlaws or criminals. There's people out there that smoke things they're not supposed to smoke according to the law, but, who made the law? It's not a natural law. They grow things they're not supposed to grow because of the law. In fact, it was funny, we did kind of start talking politics, and I was saying, there's really no difference between the government and the mafia. I mean, they both use coercion to get what they want and to keep you in line. I was telling my friend, look, you don't pay your property taxes, they're going to come take your property away. If the mafia comes up to you and they go, hey, if you don't pay us, for protection, things could happen. Your barn could burn down. Your animals could run away or get killed. Things happen if you don't have protection. So I said, there's no difference. He goes, well, we didn't vote for the mafia. That's kind of interesting when you think about it that way. We didn't vote for the mafia. Well, see, government got set up, and that's just something that they allow us to do every so often, just to, I guess, brainwash us into believing that we have some control over the situation. We have some participation. But these same elected officials, when you go to one of their public meetings, more times than not, if you're against what they want, they're not so nice. And they're vindictive. Not all, but there's a few. It only takes one to make your life difficult. So a lady in town owns some land south of me, a couple miles. And I guess when she bought the land, there was some kind of land use restrictions or something. Long story short, she went in for a building permit, and they don't want to give her the building permit. And she's gone back and forth. And it's basically, there's this one person in the planning department that's got a grudge against her. So she just denies it. It doesn't cite any codes or anything, just flat out denies it. And see, this is a part of the problem with the system. This is why you have to take freedom. Just do what you do, keep it to yourself. Don't make a spectacle out of it. Don't brag about it. Just do it and enjoy life. Enjoy your freedom, your personal freedom. Now, of course, I'm not advocating you go out and break laws. That's your decision. But my fellow Americans, if you don't take your freedom, nobody's going to give it to you. Wake up, America. Smell the tyranny.